Hello, everybody. First of all, I want to say I'm sorry that this video was posted a little bit late. I had some technical difficulties, but I think I got them all straightened out now. Second of all, I want to say that as we're going along, moving through this photography lesson, you might feel like it's not really relevant because you guys are just stuck at home and you keep having to find random things to take pictures of and things like that. What I want to remind you is that yes, now we're in quarantine, but it's not always going to be like that. So one of these days, you guys are going to have a baby cousin to photograph, or you're going to go on vacation and want to take really cool pictures, or you're going to get invited to somebody's wedding and maybe you'll want to take a really pretty picture of the bride or something like that. So the things that I'm teaching you right now may not feel like you can use them every day right now, but as you know, your life is going to change a lot, and there'll definitely be some awesome moments that you want to capture. So I'm excited to help you learn more about how to capture those moments in a great way. This week, we're going to learn about photography composition. But before we do that, I have to make my announcement about Pictionary. If you're bored, if you miss people, you can come and play. It's every day, 3 to 4 p.m. Now, if somebody has a question about art class, of course, I, as a teacher, have to put that on as a priority. But if nobody has questions, then we just play Pictionary, and we might play a couple other games too. First of all, we need to talk about what is composition. Composition refers to the arrangements of elements used. In photography, it means paying attention to what will be photographed, how it is placed in relationship to other objects in the image, and how well the subject matter is expressed. So it's basically where are we putting things and what do they look like when we put them there. Okay, when it says elements, that means parts of the photograph, but it could also mean the elements of art. So you can also be noticing your textures, noticing your lines, noticing your shapes, noticing your colors and things like that. That is part of composition. My 3 tips for you for today for composition is to fill the frame, zoom with your feet, and strive for clean backgrounds. First of all, we're going to talk about filling the frame. Let's look at this example. This is my nephew Max. I took both of these pictures with him down in Galveston, and they're just very different pictures. Think about for a second, what is the difference? And which one is better? Know your subject. You shoot photos of something you want to see. That something is called the subject of the photo. If the subject is actually only a small part of the photo, it can get lost. To make the subject the most important thing, move close enough so that it fills the digital camera screen. So here's a loose frame, a photo of Moki. Here's a tighter frame or filled frame. What I want you guys to learn today is to aim for images like this, the filled frame. Here's an actual piece of student artwork from last week. This is a loose frame. This is the same photo, but I actually just cropped it and I made it into a tight frame. Notice how in the left photo, our eyes can kind of get distracted looking all over here at this piece of carpet and down here. There's just a lot to look at. When we do a tight or filled frame, it makes it a little bit more like our eyes know where to look and we can just focus on the aspects of that subject. I really like this photo. The lighting is really great and it's really soft and peaceful. If your subject has eyes or if it's small, put the camera at eye level or in front of it. So it's more personal if you get down on the same level as the object. In this photo, this is in Taiwan. The dog was my subject. See how the city streets pulls your eyes away from the subject? You might get distracted looking at all these buildings, these motorbikes, things like that. But in this one, my dog is closer. You focus more on the eyes of the dog, and the focus is on the dog. Now, both of these photos are really interesting and nice. I wouldn't throw either of them out, but for this lesson, I want you guys to practice filling the frame. Why should you fill the frame? First of all, it will help you pick up on really great details. When we get closer to our subject, we can see the unique little details, and details are fascinating. It can help you pick up on the mood. When the subject fills the frame, the viewer is better able to pick up on the color, lighting, expressions, all which contribute to the mood of the photo. When you fill the frame, you get rid of your ugly backgrounds. It's easy to get distracted by a cluttered background of a photo. The objects in the background aren't important. Focus on your subject. And lastly is impact. By filling the frame, you add instant impact. You are controlling where your viewer's eyes go, right to the subject. This reduces distracting clutter. You can make people notice things they've never noticed before, and there's beauty in the details. So if you notice a detail about something and you think that is a beautiful detail, zero in on that and help other people see the detail in the same way. I want you guys to zoom with your feet, and I'm going to tell you what that means. Here are 2 ways to fill the frame. We'll talk about zooming. First, you can use your camera zoom. This is not recommended, and I'm going to tell you why on the next slide. Second, you can zoom with your feet. You walk closer to your subject, get on the same level as the subject. If the subject has eyes, get at the eye level of the subject. Here's why it's not a good idea to use your camera zoom. There are 2 types of zoom. There's optical zoom, which optical zoom always has these longer zoom lenses on it. Okay, it's a fancy way of zooming. And then there's digital zoom. So the biggest difference is that optical zoom magnifies the image without changing the image quality. Something happens inside of that long tube that makes the image high quality, but also closer. But digital zoom is different. There's nothing on the front of this camera to make the zoom happen. The digital zoom shoots a cropped view of the image and then enlarges it to fill the frame. And the camera makes the pixels larger, and this results in the image being blurry or blocky. So let me show you some examples of that. Classified footage of the Easter Bunny. Here's the original photo. This is optical zoom. This is digital zoom. So you can see with optical zoom, it's clear around his eye, but digital zoom, which is what you guys have on your cell phone cameras, it's blocky. We're not seeing it how we would want to be able to see it. That's why it's important to zoom with your feet. Do not use the zoom on your camera phone. Here's a really cool example of awesome optical zoom. Whoa. Our cameras can do things that our eyes cannot do. So far away. But just remember, in order to zoom like this, you have to have a really long lens stuck on the front of your camera. And they even make those for cell phone cameras. I'm not sure if they work very well, but it's interesting that they make them. Lastly, we're going to talk about our backgrounds. We need to keep it clean. Backgrounds matter. Notice the difference between these two pictures. I think this is the same photo and it's actually been edited. Which one helps you focus on the subject more? Choose our subject. The one on the left has a really busy background. We've got the mom interacting with the baby, and we've got a guy walking back here. We want to keep your backgrounds clean and orderly, and just remember the rule that less is more. It's easy to concentrate so much on the subject of a photo that you forget the background. The background can complement or distract from the photo. My subject for this one was a horse, and you hardly even look at the horse in this one. But when I moved closer to the horse with my feet, and then you can see that my subject was the horse. Two ways to fix a distracting background. You can zoom in or fill the frame, which we just talked about. One way to clear up a distracting background is to zoom in on the subject. This creates less area around the subject to distract the eye. Here's Mr. Smith running a race. This is very distracting. I can't even tell which one's Mr. Smith. I have to, if this was the first time I'd seen that picture, I would have to hunt for him. This one is captures more of him personally. Or you can change the background. So this one I zoomed in, this one you can change it. So if you're trying to capture that they're having fun in the pool, this gives you a big picture, but this is going to zero in on just that little girl. So the photographer in this one got at a different angle and used just the pool as the background, the water, and this one just has the whole backyard and even someone else's house as a background. Make yourself or move yourself or move your subject to make the background different. Always be hunting for good backgrounds. So here's Mr. Smith with a busy background. This is in Taiwan again. And the same day we moved to a different area and I took a better picture, much less distracting background. Here's a couple photo bombs. Photo bombs are the funniest kind of distracting background photos. Got a guy chasing chicken back there. This is funny. They're all dressed up for prom and she's back there eating some chips in her jammies. We got a dog butt. We got a dog going potty on the family portrait. Photo bomb. So cute. This one's not really funny, but I do want to note that you should notice like trees and vertical objects if they're behind somebody you're taking a picture of, because you don't want it to look like the poles or the trees are growing out of their head. That can be really distracting. Here's Mr. Smith and a monkey. Here's 3 ways that I photographed them. This one was too far away and it wasn't at eye level. So I get the idea, yeah, there's monkeys on his shoulder, but it's not very well composed. This one's better. I filled the frame, I got it eye level, but the problem with this one is there's a distracting background. Now it's not too bad, but it could be better. Now the third one is a lot better as far as the background goes. I filled the frame and I had a good background, but for this one, unfortunately, both of my subjects looked away, so it wasn't a perfect picture. Out of all 3 of these, I like this one the best, but I wish that these 2 were looking, and then this one would be the best. You can tell a powerful story by showing different compositions. This can affect your viewers in ways that one photo can't. Another example of this. This is kind of telling a story of who this person is, rather than just one picture. Okay, today's lesson was just that. It's a lesson. It's you trying to soak in information. I don't have any assignments for you today. What I want you to think about and process is the 3 tips I've got for you today. First is fill the frame. Second, zoom with your feet. And third, concentrate on clean backgrounds. I'll have an assignment for you guys tomorrow. I hope you have a great day.